Hey, are you concerned about protecting that brand new pretty sled that you just got? Here's the solution. Use SledSend 24 for a 15% off discount code on some backwoods bumpers, the industry leader in performance protection.
Sounds like
the setup.
Yeah. Sounds like Backwoods started their party.
Yeah.
That's their music
timing.
over there.
That's fired up early.
So it's all right. We'll let everybody know. We're still at 8 days, so there's
They
some
were
background.
just trying it out. Had to make sure the speakers weren't broken, you know.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, cool. So, SledSend listeners, welcome back to the next episode. We are chilling here at Heydays, so don't mind the noise in the background, people walking by and such. And also be sure to check out the description for the podcast. We've got a pretty decent hub of a ton of sponsors with a lot of discounts and stuff for this year, so be sure to check that out. And without further ado, Coby's back on this one with us again. And then we also have another one of our sponsors, Oxbow Gear. We've got Clayton on here, the founder of Oxbow. Clayton,
What's
welcome
up?
on.
Thanks for having me, dude. I'm stoked to be here.
Heck yeah, I'm glad, you and I have been talking back and forth, texting and stuff and sending messages, and we were going to try to get over to you in August.
Yeah, I was sad you guys didn't make it.
Well, you can blame the camera guy. It's his fault.
Always blame the camera.
Yeah, so hopefully we can try to set something up in October. That's the plan. But at least we got to meet you face to face here, and so I appreciate you jumping on today.
Yeah, dude, I'm excited.
Heck yeah! How long have you been coming to Heydays?
This is our third year here.
Third. Okay.
Yep.
Nice. As a vendor.
Yeah. Well, just total.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd never been to Heydays until we were a vendor here 3 years ago, and it was so good the first time. Like, you just have to keep coming back.
Oh,
so.
yeah.
How'd you find out about it?
Oh, I've known about it for a long time. You know,
Okay.
you see it in for years growing up. Whatever, you see it in Snow West magazine, the grass drags,
Sure.
all that kind of
Sure.
stuff.
Yeah.
So it's definitely been on my radar, but we were so small as a company. It was just kind of a big expense trying to get everything out here, and
Yep.
so as we kept growing as a company, we could afford to start doing more stuff like this.
Sure.
So once we could do it, we did it.
Yeah. Yeah. So where exactly are you located at?
We are in Payson, Utah, so it's about an hour south of Salt Lake.
Okay. Nice. How long of a drive was that to get here?
It's a good 18 hours.
Oh, it's a mission.
You add the stops in, everything like that.
Oh, yeah.
You're a 2-day drive out here.
Oh yeah, I love it.
Yeah, for sure. So, were you born and raised there in Utah?
I was.
Okay.
Yep. I've lived in Utah my whole life,
Okay.
except for 2 years. But other than that, yeah, I've been in Utah forever.
Okay, nice.
That's awesome.
So, let's kick it back to your first exposure into snowmobiling. Like, how did that all start? How did you get exposed to this sport?
Oh, I grew up snowmobiling. I mean, I was snowmobiling in the womb. Some of my earliest memories are on a sled.
Okay.
This is back in the day. When I was born, my parents had some Scorpions. So that was like what I was riding as a baby,
Nice.
know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And so my family, we grew up snowmobiling. Everyone in my family was into it. And I've got memories just riding with a beanie on my head and just on some trails cruising in the mountains.
Just going for it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Heck yeah. Yeah,
Back before everyone was wearing helmets and stuff.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Leather cap.
Yep.
Heck yeah. So, did you want to touch on some snowmobile stuff? You always have good questions about types of sleds and.
Yeah. If we're rolling on it, I mean, all sledder guys. I always love to ask. I guess what's like the evolution of your snowmobiling? Growing up, you rode that, and then.
Like the different snowmobiles that you've had.
Yeah.
through
So,
time.
I mean, the first snowmobile that I can think of where I was like, starting to get big enough to ride a sled by myself. We had like an old Phaser. That was kind of what I rode most around, like the fields and stuff by my house, like by myself. But like once I started being able to get big enough to like go with my dad with the mountains and stuff, I had a XLT 600.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that thing, it was piped, it screamed. That thing was so fast, like
Ripper.
yeah, ripping. Like you'd be going down the roads, the Groom Trail, and you'd just be just flying.
Yeah.
Those things scream.
Oh yeah.
But we always, as long as I can remember, I mean, I was just always trying to follow my dad in the backcountry. He was always, trying to boondock as much as you could on the sleds back then. And I just, from the very moment I can remember, like I've my entire life, I've just been passionate about snowmobiles.
Okay.
Like it has always been my favorite thing to do. I just remember growing up, like all summer long, I'd be thinking about it. I couldn't wait for it to start snowing again. All my binders in school would have like Polaris and Yamaha like written all over it, like it's all I could think about. And just always been passionate about it.
Yeah, sure.
Have you always rode in Utah, or did you grow up riding somewhere else?
No, we never, we didn't really ever travel like as a family growing up to different places. So we always just rode around, within an hour or two of our house growing up. So yeah, I was riding the Polaris XLT, and then my next one was a Ski-Doo 670, and then I got a Ski-Doo 800 Summit, and hammered that thing in my teenage years.
Hammered that thing.
Yeah, dude, that thing. We put so many miles on that. Had that one for a long time, and it just got worked. Like it was beat up by the time we were done with it. And then, then I didn't really ever touch like the Rev platform. My dad had a Rev, but I never really got into that one. And then I got a Polaris. Man, I'm going blank right now. Not the Dragon, the one after the
Pro?
The Pro.
Yeah.
I could not
Yeah, I was
think
like,
of
I'm
it.
thinking, I think he's talking the Pro.
Yeah, you get the cameras rolling your mind.
Well, anymore now they have so many, the Pro, the Axis,
there's
the
a lot.
Matrix,
Lots to keep
Chaos,
track of.
Slash, this,
Yep.
that.
And that was the sled that I had, like, becoming like an adult and like actually really starting to like try to like, practice different things and like really try to get like, improve your skills.
Yeah.
Instead of just like going out there hammering stuff, it was like, let's like get going on some stuff,
Start practicing.
And the sled just, opened up a whole new world of possibilities too. That was just
agree.
awesome. And that was right when I like had become an adult, like, strong enough to like really handle a mountain sled. And I don't know, it just kind of kept going from there,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally agree. I think the Pros, they had, I mean, the Dragons, you could do stuff with those, and different sleds, but the Pro really opened up a new form of mountain riding.
Yeah.
I mean, those things.
At least for me, it seemed like it.
Yeah,
for sure.
same here. I feel like my growth came exponentially when I got to 14, I think, or no, it was a 12. A 12 Assault is what it was, or something
nice.
like that. But the Pros, I think those were a huge step in the game.
Yeah.
What'd you go to after that?
Axis.
Axis?
Yep.
And then are you still with Polaris?
Still with Polaris.
Nice. What's your
Yep.
current setup?
It's Axis.
Axis?
Still on the Axis.
Yep.
Got it turboed, and I don't know.
Nice. I have the same. Well, I don't know about the same turbo, but I have an Axis turboed as well.
Yeah.
Good setup.
Yep.
Yeah, it's tough
I
to beat
keep
that.
meaning to get a new one, but dude, it runs so good.
They do, dude. They run good and they're like reliable. So
They're reliable. There's no stop rides with it.
exactly. That's the biggest thing. Yeah. No
Yeah.
stop rides and probably no more bills.
Yeah, for sure. So let's kind of get a little bit into the Oxbow stuff. So are you full-time Oxbow?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yep.
So about when did you start it, and talk a little bit about how the idea, I know you were talking to Coby and I on how, it came to be, or as far as the radios, but how did you begin to, come up with the idea of creating Oxbow?
Yeah. So it was just kind of, things just really kind of came together. Like I was always very interested in business. I went to college for business, ended up graduating business marketing, but I always wanted to start my own business. And I, along the way through college, like I had started a lot of different businesses, just kind of dabbling in different things. Always had a side hustle, trying to find ways to like work for yourself. Like that was my dream. And out of college, I was working for an advertising agency and doing that sort of thing. And I got into dirt biking in college. I always wanted to, but never did growing up. So it was in college that I got into dirt biking, and I just like fell in love with it through the summer times. Like it was a way to kind of get that same rush of snowmobiling, but in the summertime, you know.
A little throttle therapy at least.
Yeah, yeah. So I was single at the time, so I would take my dirt bike to work with me, and I'd go into early to work, get off at like 4 o'clock, and I'd go hit the trail somewhere, go dirt biking. And throughout that one summer, like I just kept pushing my limits further and further. Like I'd get further into the back country, and I'd have to like, you know, set a timer. It's like, okay, it's time to start heading back before it gets dark, you know.
Yeah, sure.
Yep.
And there was a few times that summer I remember just, you know, something would happen, you'd get flat tire or whatever, you take a wrong turn, and pretty soon you're like fumbling your way down the mountain in the pitch black, and I couldn't see a thing, and you got your flashlight out trying to, you know, shift, use the clutch with your phone light.
You're like, this is not good.
And so one of these times going down the mountain, I just had the idea. I was like, you know, I've got GoPro mounts on everything. Like, it would be really cool if I just had a light that I could snap into the GoPro mount just to get me down the mountain. Because I didn't want to wire something into my bike. I liked it how it was. Like, I didn't want to have a permanent light on there.
You didn't want to mess with the bike at all.
Yeah. So I just planned on, I thought for sure somebody would have something like that. And I went home that night just planning on buying something like that. And I got on Amazon, started looking around, and I couldn't find anything that was under like $500. Like it was expensive. There was one company that I found, and I want to say they were like $800 or something for their setup, and it was like super expensive. I was like, what? Like, that's crazy. Like, it actually like shocked me, because I had, you know, tried to start a bunch of different products. Yeah. So my roommate at the time was an engineer, and I got together with him, and we made the first kind of prototype light that snapped into the GoPro mount.
Yep.
And that's kind of what kicked things off. So a lot of people don't know that about us, that we started in the lights. It's really the radios that put us on the map for most people in the snowmobile world, but that was our background, was making helmet lights.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So then keep rolling on to the radio.
Yeah, so Oxbow,
was there any products in between?
So we had, I think by the time we had the radio, we'd come out with a new light, the Voyager, that we still sell today. That was like maybe 2 years after we had started.
Okay.
And then we had got the Maverick light, which is more of like the flashlight style that clips the GoPro mount. So we had those two lights going, and then a light bar that would go onto your handlebars. So we were like full on in the light business at that point. And we had a few other products at the time, you know, like first aid kits and stuff like that you could throw in your backpack.
Yeah.
But the radios came about, this was in, I think it was 2019, maybe early 2020. I can honestly don't remember, but we were on a snowmobile trip to Jackson, and this was, Oxbow at this time was still, it was a side hustle. Like, so I had left the marketing agency that I was with, and I started our own agency with another business partner. And that agency, it was purely just to like give me the freedom to work on Oxbow, because Oxbow was what I was passionate about. I wanted it to be a full-time gig. I wanted to grow that business because I loved everything about it. I love going to shows. You know, just the industry is awesome.
Yeah.
Was this like, looking at your hat, was this like 2015-ish when it was established, or? Yeah,
so we started in 2015.
Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha.
But it was a side hustle for a few years. So I think let's see, I'm trying to remember all the dates. I think it was 2017, I want to say, is when I left my corporate job, started my own agency so that I could focus more on Oxbow on the side, give myself a little more freedom. And then I went on so it's still a side hustle, and then I went on a snowmobile trip up to Alpine, Wyoming with a bunch of buddies. And on that trip, like it was an epic trip, like tons of powder. It was just, you know, just dumped the week before. Just one of those like epic trips that you remember.
Yeah.
And I remember we were just going hard, and it was a really cold day. And that day, like, I had my BCA radio, and everybody in the group had BCAs. And at the end of that day, like, there was like 10 of us, and 8 of the 10 radios had crapped out, whether it was batteries or the mics freezing over, whatever. And I had some other complaints with it, you know, and we got in the truck driving home, and I was just kind of pondering it, like thinking about it, like, man, there's really no other options for radios. And just kind of, things just started clicking in my mind, like, oh man, like, how hard is it to make a radio? Like, we already do lights. I know the manufacturing side of things. You know, we just got to come up with our own radio. It's not like radio technology is crazy.
Yeah.
You know, it's just putting the components together. And so the wheels started turning, and that's kind of what got us into the radio business.
Okay.
10-4. How did you go about like, I don't know. You're already doing the lights, so I don't know how you were coming up with those lights. How did you make the first radio? Were you like, okay, I'm gonna take this radio and make
Hey, what's up, guys? I want to take a quick
question.
second
So
to introduce another one of this year's sponsors. We have RSI. So the handlebar setup on your sled is arguably probably one of the most important components on your whole setup. So definitely check out their site. They've got a ton of different products, and use SledSend 24 at checkout for a discount.
I had ordered a bunch of different radios that I just started playing with and testing out and stuff, kind of trying to come up with ideas like, what are we gonna do that's different. I knew, like, we got to make it so it can withstand the elements. That's the first priority. And initially, we were planning on going the route like the BCA does with the whole microphone that comes onto the chest, because that's what I knew. And as we started thinking about it and developing it, it just was like, why do we need this cable? There's no reason to have that. I don't know why we would need it. And that was one of my pain points, is like that thing comes flipping off and it's just dangling behind your backpack, or, you want to change batteries, change the channel, figure out why your radio's not working, whatever. Like, you've got to dig into your Avy bag, pull everything out. Like, it's just a hassle.
Yeah,
it's just a hassle.
The whole show and undress.
Yeah. And so then I was like, why don't we just put the whole radio on the front? Like, just make it super simple. And the biggest concern with that was, one, we've got the battery exposed to the elements now. Like, is it going to freeze? Is it going to withstand the cold?
Yeah.
That was actually my biggest concern.
Naturally, yeah.
And then, you've got the screen exposed there, the branches, stuff like that. So we just started thinking, like, we got to make it so it's durable. It can withstand this kind of abuse and riding that people take it through. And so it just kind of kept evolving from there. And then it was like, once we had that idea of like, let's put the whole radio on the shoulder, I was just like, that'll be revolutionary. Like, nobody's done that in the snowmobile world.
Yep.
And so that was like where we wanted to go. And so then it was like, we just got to figure out all this other components and how are we going to mount it. And just the process of, developing the mounting system for it was tons of different versions, trying to figure out like, how do we make this work? And then, but yeah, we finally got there with it. And
dude, the setup you guys have now, I absolutely love the just riveting into because I have a Climb Avy bag, and so just and on his too, just mounting it right there, and then so you mount the plate, rivet the plate into the vest, right, and then you can just hook the radio right into the GoPro.
Yeah, that was Dan Adams' design right there. Was
it?
Yep.
Okay, nice.
So,
it's so slick.
Yeah, and that was kind of another fun thing with the radio was like, dude, so the funny thing is we had put it out there on our social media, like, if we launched a radio, like, how many of you guys would be interested in that type of thing? Like, this is preliminary, like, just trying to feel like the market. Like, what do you guys think if like,
be a possibility?
Yeah, what do you guys think if like we made a radio? And it actually really surprised me. I remember we took a poll on our social media of like, yes, we should do it. No, we shouldn't do it. You know how you can check that box, whatever.
Yeah.
And it actually came back. I think it was the majority of people said we shouldn't do it. They were like,
really?
a lot of people were commenting like, just stick with the lights. That's what you guys are known for. That's what you guys do. Like,
jeez.
But
well, good thing you didn't listen to them.
I know. I just felt it. I was just like, I think we're onto something, and there's not a lot of competition out there with it. And I was just like, I just want to do it. So we launched it at Salt Lake Snow Show. And it instantly just like, we had crowds over by our booth. Like, people were stoked.
Yeah.
Like,
that's awesome.
Throughout the whole business that we had been doing, like, I hadn't seen anything like that. Like, there was like a real stoke around it. People were excited. And anyway, so I remember right after we had launched it was probably like a week after we had launched it or something, I saw an order come through on our website from Dan Adams. And I was like, what? No way. Like, Dan Adams just bought our radio.
That's cool.
And I've talked to Dan about this, and I told my wife that, and I was like, Dan Adams bought our radio. I was like, should I call him? I have his number on the order, like, just get his feedback, like, just want to talk to him or whatever. Like, I was
told him the card was canceled or declined or something. That would have been funny.
I was like a total fanboy, like, from Slednex and stuff. And anyway, so my wife was like, no, don't be weird. Like, at least give it some time or something. So.
Don't be weird.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So anyway, I ended up, calling him a couple months later to kind of get some feedback or whatever. And he's ended up being like a really, really good contact for us, just helping us improve the product. And, like, he's the one that came up with that mount. That's why I bring up this story, because like he was trying to figure out how to make it work with his climb bag, because the mount that we had made, it's universal for like, you know, 90% of the packs out there, but there's a few bags out there like it really just doesn't work with, and the climb pack was one of those. Yeah. And so he came up with his own system. I was like, that's so cool, like send me pictures or whatever, and then we ended up kind of just copying his design. And
nice.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. So talk a little bit about, because last year you dropped a couple different versions of some radios. So kind of talk, because you still offer the original one too, right?
Yep.
So you have 3 different versions. So let's go into those, starting with the first one.
Yeah. So when we launched the radio, like it was a huge success for us, like right away. Like there was so much stoke in the industry about it, and that first season, like we just were getting so much good feedback. Like people were loving it. You know, but there was just a couple small things, and they still said they loved it more than the competition, whatever, but there's just like a few things, and we knew right away like there was a couple issues. They weren't deal breakers with the radio, but like things that just people didn't like. One of the big ones was the knob on the top. That was probably the number one biggest thing, is like people were accidentally, you know, bumping that knob, turning the volume down, and in some cases like turning it off. And so we knew right out the gate, like, you know, we're gonna have to make another version, or we just knew right away that we could improve on that version. And so that whole season, we waited for that season to be over, and we're just getting feedback from all sorts of riders throughout the season to start developing the new radio. And then so instantly, like that first winter we had that radio out, we were already working on the new version of it, making some tweaks to it, getting feedback. I don't know, what do you want to know about the new radios?
So just details for anybody that doesn't know, because obviously the third option, the blue one, is some Bluetooth stuff too, right?
Yeah. So we came out with 2 versions. So it was based off the new chassis. So we went to a whole new platform, make the user interface easier. So we moved all the buttons to the face of the radio. So you're not adjusting any knobs. You can't bump. There's literally nothing that you can bump on it to mess with it or whatever. We increased the waterproofing of it, and we'll talk about that more later. We went to an aluminum chassis, grounded the antenna to the aluminum. It actually gives us a little bit better range doing that. Made a lot of changes once we, you know, launched the first radio. Like the first radio was our first stab at a radio, and, you know, it was kind of testing the market with it, you know. So there was a lot that we learned with that radio, and like with the user interface, how to make it a lot better. Stuff like that. So all of that stuff was incorporated into the 2.0 and the X radio. And then with the X, so there's the base model of the new radio, that's the 2.0. The chassis are the exact same on the 2 radios, but then the X version, we put Bluetooth into that radio so that you would, you know, so you could pair it with your helmet intercom systems, your Cardos, Cenas, U-Clears, or just your earbuds. You got some Skull Candies you want to pair it with, headphones, all that kind of stuff. So it really was just an idea that we had. We kind of ran with it, and then we just figured, you know, it would open up a lot of new opportunities for us, because especially like here in the Midwest too, a lot of guys are just snowmobiling with intercom systems. It's not as big in the West where we are. But out here, like trail riders and stuff, they snowmobile a lot with intercom systems. But the problem with the intercoms is the range is so terrible. So our radio allows you to pair to the radio, transmit via 2-way radio, so it just increases your range exponentially. And it, you know, it opens up the hunting market to us, the off-road market, side-by-sides, dirt bikes, all that kind of stuff. So it was just something we wanted to do.
Yep, sure.
When they do that, does it do microphone Bluetooth through that as well, or do you still have to?
Yeah, so you talk through the headset Bluetooth.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
So my question with the Bluetooth stuff is I know that there's a level of interference with transceivers, with that kind of stuff. So can you talk a little bit about interference or maybe issues or hesitation?
Yeah, I mean there's a lot of talk about that, and you know, we definitely don't want to put any riders in any kind of risk, and so we actually put that in the pamphlet. Like if you're going into avalanche terrain, don't use the Bluetooth. Like just stay off of that. Just use it, you know, just as normal radio.
Yeah, because even when I took an Avi course, even with my Whoop, they were concerned, so they had me hold my transceiver in the opposite hand of my Whoop so that it didn't interfere in a life-threatening situation.
And you can, and that's a question we get a lot. Like you can leave the Bluetooth turned off. You don't have to turn it on. And so and that was kind of the idea with the Bluetooth too, is like you have that option if you want to use it for other sports. You buy one radio, you can use that radio for hunting, snowmobiling, whatever.
Yeah.
And you can use the Bluetooth when you want to use it, turn it off when you don't need it.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Huh?
I just said that makes a lot of sense.
Oh, I had to cough. Thought you were leaning away.
Oh, no,
You scared?
no.
You scared?
No, you're good. You're good. Did you have something? No. Jeff, did you have something you wanted to? Where's your mic? Oh, yeah, turn your mic on. It's something to chime in with?
Well, I was just curious. You seemed pretty passionate about working for yourself. Is there any other entrepreneurs in the family?
That's a good question.
No.
I just didn't know if like it was some sort of influence from like your dad or something like that.
No, I mean a little bit. Like he did side hustles, but he was always in the corporate business. I don't know. One of the big things was I was always just interested. I actually looked back and found a journal entry from like when I was like 12 years old, and it was like a question or one of those things from school. I think it was like I was looking through some papers, and it's like, what do you want to do for a career? And it was like, I want to own my own business.
Yeah.
And that actually might have been younger. It might have been like
There
10
you
or
go.
something.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I was just like, I stayed true to it, I guess.
Came full circle. Yeah. Yeah, that's neat.
Yeah.
How'd you come up with the name Oxbow?
That's a good question. It's kind of a funny story, actually. So one of my favorite childhood movies is called The Last of the Dogmen. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it.
No.
What's it about?
So it's about these fugitives that are running into the Oxbow Mountains.
Okay.
And this bounty hunter is hired to go like capture these guys, and they end up finding like these Indians that live in the mountains that like didn't know about modern civilization. Anyway, it's like this really gnarly mountain range in the movie, and it's called the Oxbow Mountains.
Okay.
But that's kind of where it came from. We had a lot of different business ideas when we were brainstorming, but that was one that kind of was like cool. It was unique. There is like, different Oxbow places like Oxbow Bend in Wyoming and stuff like that. But it was also like, so my background being a digital marketer, it was also one that was going to be really easy to rank for and to trademark, like all that kind of stuff. So it just made sense to go with it.
There you go. What's the future look like for you? The next 3, 4, 5 years? You have any desires? Big? I mean, I'm sure you do, goals and ambitions and stuff. But where's Oxbow going to be in the next?
My biggest focus right now is just developing new products. So we've got a few products in the pipeline right now, new lights.
So I heard some good friends with Smasher, and when he came to visit us off the podcast, he said that there was something in the works that was coming with a light with a lot of lumens.
Yes.
Can you talk about that yet, or is that not?
Yeah.
Not
we've actually been working on this light for a long time, couple of years now. We just keep running into hiccups with it, but I think we're actually getting really close to it. I can tell you, it's going to be a 5,000 lumen helmet light. That's
Do you
been our
realize
goal.
How bright that is?
That's been our goal, is 5,000.
That's crazy.
How bright is that? What's your average like?
So he's familiar with. So I used to rock the Franken light.
Okay, so the
that's-
old Franken lights were 1,000 lumens.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So 5x that.
That thing's gonna be shiny.
That's wild.
Dude, it's bright. Like it's wild. Like it's way brighter than like your stock headlights on your sled. Like it lights up the mountain. Yeah.
It's like daylight at night.
Yeah.
Is it heavy?
Pretty much.
Is it heavy?
No, it's heavier than our current light. It's bigger, but
How big is this bad boy?
It has its
you're
own
talking-
battery pack too, doesn't it? Or
it's still an external battery pack.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so it's same setup as our Voyager, where you run the external battery pack to the backpack. And we've had a lot of people talk to us about going like on the helmet, and that's what our Maverick is the light or the battery on the helmet. The problem with that is like you just can't get around the science of it. Like it gets so heavy. If you want to have a lot of power on your helmet, like the battery capacity to run that is going to be really heavy on your head.
yeah, sure.
So it just doesn't make it a very good experience having that much weight on your neck. At least that's how I feel.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah.
I think the same way. Yeah, you don't want that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm interested to run one of your lights because I run a helium hood on my sled, so I don't have any headlights. But I'm also, so for me with the desire to have a light, it's and you're kind of the opposite, but I don't really intentionally go night riding. For me, it's more of an emergency safety thing. But you definitely like to.
Yeah.
Tear it
We
up.
go night riding a lot, so.
Yeah.
I mean, when you go intentionally night ride, it's nice to have that, which I'm still going to get one because I want both.
Well, you
When
need
you're-
both, yeah.
When
Yeah.
you're tree riding at night, which I've lately started to
Because you
do.
can look around,
Pretty
even if
hard,
your
yeah,
sled
when
is
you're
straight,
riding
you can
around and all of a
turn.
sudden
Yeah.
tree
and,
branch.
and that's what I tell people all the time. They're like, people are like, I've got lights on my sled. I was like, dude, if you like, those sled lights do nothing in the backcountry.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, no.
you can't navigate with one of those. Like, my sled lights are pointing over here, and I got to look to see what's down here, and it's
Yeah.
pitch black, you know?
Yeah, then or even when you stop though, you stop and something happened, shut your sled off to help somebody. You know,
Yeah.
it's just nice to have a light.
Or you hit powder, and your headlights are instantly covered.
Yeah, that also sucks large too. Had that.
So it actually is like total game changer having a helmet light on your helmet. Like, you can actually, you'd be surprised the kind of technical riding you can do at nighttime with a helmet light.
Oh, shoot.
So it opens up a whole world, like, and that was kind of the whole point of it, right? Is like, you can leave after work, even if you just get a couple hours of sunlight to go ride, and then you got to make your way down in the dark, like, you can.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
For
it just
sure. Yep.
extends your ability to go riding.
Yeah, and it extends
Yeah.
the evening. You know, you're not like all paranoid and worried, like, oh shoot, we got to go in. Tyler doesn't have any headlights.
Yeah. Something kind of change the topic a little bit, but something that I think was really cool that you guys did this year, and I got the invite in the Facebook group, but wasn't able to make it happen, was your ambassador sponsored group ride.
Oh,
How,
so fun.
how was that? I mean, I saw comments and,
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Tyler with SledSend. Wanted to take a second of your guys' time and ask for your guys' support for what we're doing with the brand of SledSend. So if you guys are enjoying, the podcast episodes with all the different guests, the tour videos and such, check out SledSend.com. We have a variety of different merch. Every order comes with air fresheners and stickers. And like I said, we appreciate your guys' support. We need it to continue to do this. And without further adu, let's get into the video.
and
Dude,
stuff.
it was epic. Like, it was honestly one of the highlights of my year. Like, it was
Yep.
so fun. Like, and you couldn't beat, like, last season was so epic with the snow conditions and everything, and it was just like the place we were riding, it was getting pounded with snow. So we had fresh snow, all tons of fun people to ride with. I think we had like, I don't know, something like 36 people come to it or something.
so cool.
And we got this huge cabin, like, so everyone was staying together in the cabin.
Oh,
really?
And it
Oh,
was just,
It
was fun.
accommodated that many people?
Yeah, it was a big cabin. It
Oh my gosh, that's gotta be
Where'd you guys
huge.
go?
was Bear Lake.
Wow.
So we're riding like Logan Canyon area and stuff, and
That's impressive.
it was just honestly like ton of fun. Like, and the first night was just like, we'd never done anything like this before. And the first night we had like 24 people that had showed up that first night to come on a night ride with us.
Yeah.
And we're all riding like this new area, except like I think 2 of us or something had been there before, but to all of us it's a new area,
Oh,
and it's like
gosh.
pitch black.
You're like, don't lose
you
anybody.
know? And it's like epic deep snow, so people are getting stuck all over, and it was really cool because like you'd see like all these lights up in the trees everywhere. And, like, it was fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought it was a pretty cool concept and idea for you guys to do that for the team.
Yeah, it was honestly like I said, it was like a highlight of the year. It was fun. So then that was the first night we went night riding together.
Yep.
And then the next 2 days, it was the next Friday, Saturday, we just went day riding all together.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody's sled stay intact?
For the most part. There was a couple getting towed out, but
Oh, that sucks.
Bound to
not too
happen.
bad. Yeah. I mean, you get that many riders, something's going to break.
Gear, something is
Yeah.
going to. Yes.
Yeah, for sure. Do you have any other topics?
What'd you think of our silly video?
Oh, yeah.
Dude, I got a kick out of
It
it.
performed way better than I thought, honestly.
Yeah.
We were just screwing around. I'm like, let's try this and see what happens. And
Yeah.
it performed pretty well.
Have you seen what the views are or likes on her recently?
Yeah, Instagram's over 113,000.
Okay, so it's grown a little bit
Yeah.
since it went like
Yeah.
viral or whatever.
Yeah.
What it got more on TikTok, didn't it?
No, it performed better on Instagram
Oh, it was Instagram.
than
Uh-oh.
TikTok. Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
What's up?
Yeah, that was. So we were just out filming just content just for SledSend and stuff, and it was just him and I, and he kind of had the concept because, you know, we try to approach, so like with the different sponsors and stuff, we have contracts and terms, right? And so like a big thing that we try to do is leverage our skill set with all the video stuff, or Jeff's skill set, I'll say. But, you know, we try to go about it in a way of like under promise, over deliver. So if I have like X amount of required terms with you for a sponsorship contract, like what can we do to go above and beyond to just like do more stuff than the average, which obviously the podcast plays a big role into that. And so we're always trying to think of different ways and concepts and videos and making content and stuff. And so we were just out riding, taking pictures and doing some stuff for Climb and Polaris and just different ideas and whatnot. And we were just sitting there and he was like, dude, we should do this like funny like concept for Oxbow and this radio. And so then we were, you know, talking back and forth with different ideas and stuff. And we were just standing there just like laughing like, oh my God, this is retarded. So silly. Like he was like and we got torn up. So there's so many people that didn't think it was a joke, you know, because
people took it seriously.
Yeah, there was
Why would you leave your buddy for that long?
Yeah,
Why would you
he
go
was like,
off?
oh, we've been up here for like 45 minutes. Where you at? And people like took it seriously. Like, why would you leave your buddy?
left on that
like,
line.
and I had to comment them directly. I was like, yo, this was filmed intentionally as a joke. Like, just, you know, making some content,
that's
and utilizing the radio and stuff, and people took it too seriously.
When we were
I was
out
like,
there, you know, and we came up with the idea, I didn't process that part of the idea.
Dude, that's hilarious.
because I was only like, I was up on the bank and I intentionally got stuck like that. Or no, I don't think
you didn't.
I didn't.
He didn't.
No,
I'm like,
because
leave your sled like that. We'll film this video.
Well, because originally he was gonna get stuck. Because we have a nickname for him. He gets stuck more than the rest of us. And so he was going to be the one stuck, and I was going to be the one talking and stuff. And so I went up, and I lost my footing or whatever on the side of that road. And I just sat there, and I was like, perfect, we'll just do this.
So you actually got stuck there?
Yeah. Well, so I wouldn't say I wasn't stuck.
No, I wasn't stuck.
I wasn't stuck, but I had to.
Yeah, let's play that video back. How big was that hill again?
It was only like 12
It was
feet.
just a road
It was just
bank.
a cut bank on a road,
Yeah.
right? You can be removed
I'm
off the
kidding.
next episode. Whatever. And so, it just I didn't think it was going to perform as well as it did, but it was sure a lot of fun.
It's always like those
shooting
just
it and
random
editing it.
goofy ideas.
Yeah,
that
the
do
weirdest
well.
things.
Dude,
that-
it was hilarious. You're just
that
like
go
sitting
for.
there in the snow, like,
Yeah, my feet are just dangling at the
Waiting
end.
for hours.
Yeah. No, it was something fun to shoot for sure.
that's awesome.
So
No, it was super cool that you guys did that. Like, I remember we saw that and we were cracking up in the office, like, oh, that's funny.
Yeah, good. Yeah, that's cool. No, it was a fun video for sure.
That's the only way we know how to do things is goofy.
Yeah. Yeah, we're pretty good at that, especially when Kobe's with us.
Oh, yeah.
Facts.
Yeah, heck yeah. So, Kobe, do you have any last thoughts?
Not much. Your guys' booth looks awesome.
Thank you. Just
Looks pretty good.
just
Yeah.
redesigned it this year.
Seeing all the finishing touches, it looks pretty sweet.
Yeah,
you guys were
we've
playing
been-
some
we've
jams
had-
earlier too.
Yeah, we were thumping.
I'm sure Scott's stoked to have his picture there on the banner.
Oh, dude, he was so stoked. It was
I'm
awesome.
sure Scott's a stud. He's
Told
a
him
cool
he
guy.
needs to go over there and sign it.
Oh yeah, yeah,
would be
for sure. So, okay. Well, speaking of signing things, so we'll go ahead and wrap this. Did you have something else?
No, I was like, that's perfect rolling.
So we'll go ahead and wrap this episode up, but we're gonna end with two things. So, I'll start with the question just because it's gonna put you on the spot, and then we can do the signing. But at the end of every episode, we have our guest ask a question to the listeners and the viewers, and then we clip it. You know, just make its own video out of it, and then use that for TikTok. And everybody likes to comment their thoughts and opinions and be thumb warriors and stuff. So, is there a question that you can think of off the top of your head that can be related to gear, related to lights, related to radios? It could be broad snowmobiling stuff. It doesn't even have to be about Oxbow, or it can, whatever you want. Is there something that you would like to ask the listeners and viewers?
Oh man.
And if you need a second to think about something, then we can go into the signing thing. So this is just a banner that we had in the studio in our office. And when Smasher came, so he actually drove. How far did he drive? Because he's in Sparks, Nevada, to Hermiston, it was 7-8 hours, I think.
Yeah, it'd be
maybe more.
about
Maybe it was
the
like
same,
9.
Same as me. It'd be probably 8 or 9 hours.
Yeah, so he drove up. I put him in one of our Airbnbs and hung out with him for the weekend, and we did 3 episodes with him. But anyways, on the last episode, it was just up there, and I was like, dude, you should sign this. And so just the last couple episodes were just making it a thing. So if you would
awesome.
do the honor of
Yeah.
signing your name and put Oxbow on there, that'd be sweet.
Oh, that's
you could
cool.
wherever you want. So you can do wherever you want. Use the black and the white, or you can use the silver on the black if you'd like, or whatever you want to do while you're
nice.
thinking of a
you
question.
do you.
Yeah. Let's see. Man, I hadn't thought about this.
I know it's a tough.
We
one.
always put
That's what I
everybody
said.
on
I'm
the
like,
spot.
dude, this is puts everybody on the spot.
Because then when
Shows
we're all
character.
done, and you're walking back to your booth over there, you could be like, oh, there's
Should've
like
asked
4 or
this
5 things
question.
that I could have asked.
Yeah.
Put everybody on the spot.
I guess I'd be curious to know like what. Well, okay. Well, what other stuff do you use your Oxbow radio for? Or would you want to use it for? For even like a future radio, or because we're already looking at new radio development, doing some new stuff. So it's still 100% going to be snowmobile related. But if there's any other stuff that you guys do in the summer, other times of the season, other hobbies that you want it to work with a different sport as well, like what features would you want in a new radio is a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So
Alrighty.
for you guys watching, wherever you're at, whatever platform you're at, definitely give us some feedback and your thoughts, so Clayton can take that information and do something with it.
Dude,
maybe,
that would be awesome. I mean, honestly,
Let's
that's
do something, with
dude.
it.
Like that, and that's the 2.0 and the X radios. Like most of that stuff came back from I mean, that's something that we definitely look at is
Sure.
like comment sections.
Yeah.
Like, what are
Feedback.
people saying? What do they want? Like, what are they complaining about?
Yeah.
We want to know that stuff. That's that's what got us to the 2.0 and the X radios, and that's what's gonna take the next radio to the next level.
Yep,
So
absolutely. Yeah. So let us know your answer in the comments below. Cool.
Heck yeah.
So we'll
Sweet.
go ahead and get this signed up.
I guess I could put my name on there, huh?
You can if you want. It's up to
Yeah,
you. You
that's
don't have
fine.
to. Perfect. Thank you. Appreciate
Sweet.
it.
Heck
Doing
yeah.
us the
Dude,
honors.
I appreciate you guys having me. It's been fun.
Yeah, it was a good, really
Dude,
good
and
episode.
yeah, we're gonna have to. Do you bring your dirt bike down to Utah?
I don't have a dirt
You
bike.
don't have a dirt bike.
No.
All right.
I can bring my sled down to Utah this winter.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, let's do it.
Sled would be it. Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah,
I used to ride dirt bikes a lot, but I.
You guys ridden Utah before?
Never.
Oh,
Okay.
I've got my family lives in Vernal, so I don't know where.
Well, you
from
guys
there
will have
he
to come
rides,
on the
but
Oxbow Ambassador ride.
Yeah, that'd be
I'd be
sick.
more than down.
Dude,
with
that'd be
that.
fun.
that'd
Heck
be a
yeah,
good
sounds
time.
like it.
Yeah.
More
Sounds
podcasts.
like it.
Yes. There'll be
Yeah.
a lot of guys there to talk
Yeah, I
to.
was gonna
so.
say there'd be a lot of podcasts.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. You look like you got something, Jeff.
Oh, I was just gonna say, when I was riding dirt bikes last weekend.
Did you take
Wait.
the radio?
No, but I'm gonna start taking it now.
Okay. Yeah.
I need to get my dad to get
Yep.
an Oxbow radio now
Yep.
for
Yep.
that.
Yeah.
But we were all worried about getting back because we went out and we took off at like 2 or 3, I think it was. And it was like, I don't know, 6 o'clock. And we're like, well, we better head back because only 2 of the guys had headlights. And I'm like, oh, wait. There's those Oxbow lights.
Yep.
I need one of those.
Yeah.
So then I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Catch a sunset at a viewpoint and then
Yep.
ride back.
That's right.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah,
like
good
that.
point.
I know, like our big snowmobile group that we have, or well, my big snowmobile.
Oh,
group that I
yeah.
have.
All 45 of you.
All 45 of them. I got them all on board of it's Oxbow's radios because they
Yeah.
were tired of the
BCAs?
the
Yeah,
cord or whatever.
cord,
Because none of them wear backpacks. They're older people. They just wear a coat. So they just want something either they can give their wife or their kid, and tell them to go off. Here's a radio. Contact anybody. But they love it during the summertime and they're Rangers. They're Ranger and Razor, and
Yeah.
they've got like
Yep.
10 of them in a group, so they all carry it inside their cabs and they're talking to each other or whatever. So
Yeah. And you got your Oxbow through a dealer, right? Through Morrow County?
yeah,
Yeah. That's how you found
through
out
Justin.
about
Yeah,
them?
Justin had them right when they first came out.
Yeah.
because I don't know, he just never had BCA, and they're like, hey, these radios just came out, they're brand new. I don't know if they got them directly through Oxbow or what. I don't know what dealership they get them through, but they got them, and I tried
That's
it,
awesome.
and I was like, yeah, it works just as good, if not better than the other brand. So
Yeah. Heck yeah.
So you still riding dirt bikes a lot in the summer then?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I love it. It's my throttle therapy for the summertime. So
Yeah.
I gotta do something.
in the summer.
Probably a lot of good riding areas in
Oh, man.
Oh, there's tons.
Utah.
Yeah, Utah's awesome for that. Like, there's so many places to go. So, yeah, as soon as the snow melts, we get the dirt bikes out, and then
Yep.
snow starts to fly. We put them away and
Yeah.
turn over
Keep
the
on.
sleds.
Get the real toys out.
Yeah, that's right.
The real
Hell yeah.
expensive toys.
Yeah.
But no, seriously, when you guys come down in October, we'll go do something fun.
Okay.
That would
cool.
be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd
I
be
would be
sick.
down.
It'd be a good time. Cool. Well, Clayton, thank you again for jumping on. Appreciate you being here and sharing some stories and some insight onto Oxbow. And yeah, we'll go ahead and wrap this episode up. SledSend listeners, thank you guys for tuning in. If you're on audio platforms or if you're on YouTube, consider subscribing to the channel. That helps us a ton. And we'll catch you guys on the next one.